Here with the last series for the Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition PK Player Killers Clan Tournament Round of 16. So, if you remember correctly, there was only one Best Out of 5 series we did not cover on Wednesday when we were doing the cast of games for this section of the tournament. Now we're just going to be doing the OnlyBaus versus Chef Sudiste series, which was the last one we didn't cover. I got some good news for you if you can look at the screen. This one went into all 5 games for the Best Out of 5, so indeed it is going to be a pretty worthy watch to see the whole thing, so I figured I'd let you know that. So if you were looking for a good series, this one definitely meets the expectations, I would say. These opponents do appear to be pretty evenly matched, so should be pretty interesting. Absolutely, so this should be quite cool. Anyways, I'm just going to share the stream with a few Discord servers and then we can get started with it. Got about 5 games to cover. I don't know how long they're going to be. They could be super long, they could be super short. Who knows? We'll have to find out. Yep, I was just reading something interesting on Discord there that made me just shake my head. But nope, other than that, everything's good. Yeah, it's about midnight here. I don't think it's going to take us super long to get through these, but you never know. Absolutely. I'm going to type something in and keyboard's being weird. Very good. Alright, now it's working. Perfect. There we go. So yeah, hopefully you had a good weekend day today. I decided to try a new mod for Definitive Edition 3. Record a video of it. I should probably do an overview of it at some point, which maybe. But it was a new type of revolt for the Dutch, the Belgian revolt from PWAO Powwow, if that's how you say it in Asian, Powwow. What is Powwow? Is that Korean, Chinese, Japanese? I don't know. But either way, Powwow came up with a Belgian revolt mod. Previously, he's made a Korean civ as well as a Danish civ. So adding a Belgian revolt to the Dutch was definitely something new for him to do. As far as logic is concerned, I think he had some custom card icons, I believe, which is pretty rare for a Powwow mod, so that's cool. Had some pretty interesting concepts in there as far as what they would do. In sort of a way, it kind of is kind of a sleek revolt that doesn't involve risking your whole economy. You also don't have to send another card to get access to the citizens. So that's a pretty neat feature in itself. Oh yeah, most definitely. I think the fact that you don't need to send a card to get the citizens and you can train them right away means that you can quickly recover your economy after all your vills turn into the revolutionaries, which I thought was a pretty neat feature of it, honestly. Oh yeah, no, I thought it was pretty good, to be honest. So yeah. One thing I found interesting was it does actually have a tech that researches you into Imperial Age, but it doesn't restore your old deck. It just leaves the revolt one there, which I found was pretty interesting, because I would have thought that he would have set it up like the Return to Mexico for the Mexican civ, where you'll have like a revolt and then you'll return in the next age. I'm surprised he didn't incorporate that into the card, but perhaps because the revolt is in Industrial Age, the mathematics of the Return to Mexico logic wouldn't work in that case, I suppose. At least that's what I think. Could be totally wrong. Maybe you can do that and he just wasn't aware of the development capabilities of it. But yeah, no. Either way, I thought it was pretty neat, actually. I mean, one thing I liked is it allowed you to train new units with a few of the cards. Like, one of them allowed you to actually train revolutionaries from the barracks, which was pretty good. Since, revolutionaries are pretty good. I mean, they're actually kind of a potential replacement to dragoons in some instances, since, They certainly don't have the anti-artillery thing going, but they have like full anti-cavalry multipliers against all cavalry types, which worth considering, you know what I mean? Plus, it's so spammable, only costs one resource, so you could theoretically have like a million vills on mills and herdables and factories, and you would have to do much with your eco there, which I thought was pretty nice. Also allowed you to make cuirassiers with one of the cards. Imagine Dutch with cuirassiers. That's pretty scary, you know. The Dutch are pretty insane with Reuters and skirms and helps. Just wait till you add Splash Cabin. Kind of makes it feel like that old Wars of Liberty time period between the Latin rework and the Dutch rework, where they completely reworked the Dutch structure. Because there was a time where the Dutch had banks still and had like the old Dutch feel, but they had cuirassiers in their roster just when they started to add the assault class to the the tag rework and everything. It was pretty neat, being able to make a whole batch of cuirassiers there. It's pretty solid overall. Yeah, it's definitely. That's cool. Yep. I think a lot of the cards though were kind of repeats with just renaming them. Like they had the Bank of Amsterdam and Rotterdam and just changed the names of the cards. Like they changed one to the Bank of Antwerp, and then I think they changed another one to Brussels or something. Still, it was pretty okay, honestly. I think functionally what it ends up doing is it actually encourages the player to use more resource crates and more units, because they're just going to be able to use a lot of those old things later in the game anyways as part of the revolt, so there's no even need to include it in your deck, at least depending on when you plan on using it, because I tried using it first against a European AI, another Dutch one, and it just didn't work because the bot got too crazy with the artillery and I just couldn't figure out what I was doing. But when I went up against one of the African ones, then I could do it because they don't have all that artillery access, and thus it felt a little bit more controllable, honestly. That's what I noticed anyways from it. And you might have a similar experience if you download Palau's Belgian Revolt mod as well for Definitive Edition. Yeah, and what else about? Trying to think. Well, what was interesting was there was no Gatling guns for the artillery. There was horse artillery though, Infinite 2 horse artillery, which I thought, alright, was interesting. There was a card there that basically also cheapened factory techs. So the ones that improved the trickle rate of the artillery production, ones that cheapened artillery upgrades, and then also allowed artillery to train faster all at the same time, which I thought was kind of a nice idea. Absolutely, I think. Just looking through these Discord servers right here. I'm almost done, and then we can start. Browsing. I think we're almost done. We just gotta find 2 more servers that I was looking for, and we should be all set. Yeah. There we go. Before this, wait a minute, let me use my mouse wheel. That should fix it. There we go. All is set now. What are they sending in there, man? It's supposed to be AoE 3 videos, and they're showing what's that? Chinese women. Yeah, that's a definitely a Age of Empires 3 video. Not. Yeah. Alright, so I think we're all good now. So we should be able to start casting this series now. Hopefully you enjoy it. so let's see here what we got. So I'm hoping this is the first game where we don't have to flip all the way through all these files to figure out where the start is. So we figured out what the fifth map is in the seeding of the tournament. It's actually Arctic territories. Alright, so... is this the right one? I'm trying to figure out. Nope, okay, so... it's all jarbled up, unfortunately. I'm going to try to find the Great Plains one first and keep it in order, because we don't want to be out of order. So let me hopefully find that. Unfortunately, the way that the filing worked here, it's going to be like a needle in a haystack. Alright, we found it. Okay, great. So here we are, Game 1 of the Best Out of 5 series of Chef Sudiste versus OnlyBaus in the PK tournament round of 16. So... here we are in Game 1 with Chef Sudiste is the Portuguese, and OnlyBaus is the Ottomans. So, Ottomans versus Portuguese. Now, that's a fascinating one, to say the least. Pretty much what makes this one a pretty neat combination of civs is the fact that both civs really love fast fortresses, and they can use them to great extent. So, of course, the Portugal is always going to go naked fast fortress. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to try to fight you in H2 at all. I mean, you can try to do something in H2 like Revnak's Fish Boom, but normally that's not the preferred strategy. Your preferred strategy would be to go to E3 as fast as possible. And the reason for that is, Portuguese, as you know, get a free covered wagon with each age up. So if you go to H3, 3 town centers, 3 town center boom. Stick in H2, it's only a 2 town center boom, right? So, literally, foregoing age ups is like denying yourself town centers, which, yeah, it's not a great idea. But anyways, here we are. Ottomans going for capitalism first. That's usually a sign that we're going to be getting a naked fast fortress. And guess what? OnlyBaus named the deck after Chef Sudiste, so he's been in this rodeo before. It's not his first rodeo here. He's dealt with Chef Sudiste's Portugal. He actually made a deck to counter him. Why does that make you should feel so special about that? Oh yeah, no, I would feel special if somebody made a deck to deal with me. Look at that, 1v1 Chef. He knows exactly what he's doing. Overall, though, it looks like he's going to be going for a naked fast fortress, right, with Royal Decree and Moss Construction to cheapen the tax, also including the Sublime Port, which basically takes all of your food and gives you a bigger amount of wood with it. So he's giving himself some options here against Sudiste. He's either going to go for like some crazy fast industrial age with Moss Construction and the Royal Decree, or he is going to go for a Sublime Port set up in Age 3, it seems like. And go Pride Cav Archer Abyss, right, to counteract the Cazador Dragoon combo of the ports. Yep, so he's going to age up with the Naturalist. Naturalist is the second sign that we're getting a naked fast fortress from Ottomans. The first one is capitalism first. It means that you want to get the gold trickle as early as possible so you can come up with that 300 coin to combine with your 700 coin crate, right? And if you go up with the Naturalist, that's your second sign that you're going to go for a naked fast fortress, because you get 2 semi-fat cows with about 200 food each to start. So by the time you start eating those, you're looking at effective 400 food to pack right away into your Egypt. And the reason why you see people go for naturalists and not anything like the Philosopher's Prince in that situation is because, you know, the food you get out of the cows is pretty much proportional to Philosopher's Prince, plus you get 2 extra villagers, so it's good in the early game, it's good in the late game. Yeah. As for Sudiste, he's also going Naturalist, right? Yep, same idea. Naturalist is very, very naked fast fortress friendly, just telling you. The only time you really see the Naturalist outside of like naked fast fortress stuff is if you're playing Sweden sometimes, because with Sweden, they can let the cows fatten up for a little bit and then, you know, delete them near the Torp, and the Torp can eat them for you. So, at least in the older guides, Naturalist was a very popular choice for the Swedes. A lot of times nowadays with these more sophisticated players, you see the Governor being used, so I guess times have changed. Anyways, though, let's see where this covered wagon goes. It's always a question when you're dealing with the Portuguese where that covered wagon is exactly going to end up. Is it going to be used to turtle near the starting TC, or is it going to be spread out onto the map to gain more resource access and map control potentially? Looks like in this case, Sudiste moves it all the way over here. It's like almost the whole length of the map, pretty much. So he indeed wants to capture this gold mine here, right? 500 coin on that thing. 5,000 coin on that thing. What am I saying 500 for? 5K. A 500 coin mine would be really bad. Ugly bad. Thankfully it's a 5K one. Also, you got this pronghorn hunt here as well. That's typically how you want to place these town centers if you're going to stick them out onto the map. Try to find a spot that has a hunt and has a mine on it. So that way, whether you need food or coin, you're going to be all set, right? Also, both sides have grabbed a trading post. Sudiste is going to go up with the marksman, very important. Just going to give him some free cazadors. Ottoman's also going up with marksman. Now, what he's going to get is the Abyss guns. One-on-one, I think an Abyss humbles a cazador very easily. You know why? Cazadors, they're not the tankiest skirmisher, right? They actually have a little bit less hit points, I think, than a standard skirm, right? At least that's what I thought. And the Abyss gunner, of course, has crush damage, so Abyss can basically outdo the Portuguese cazadors in what they do best, which is having a really high pierce armor. Gets completely ignored by the Abyss gunner, so at least at the start, 4 Abyss looking a bit better than the 6 or so cazadors that Sudiste's getting. Right, and he's got 1 shipment available, so what's that going to be? Well, he's got options. He could go Falconet, he could go Abyss. He's going to go Sublime Port. So what you're going to see here is, you're going to see the player go for full hunts, take their vills off of all other resources. So, when Sublime Port arrives, you're going to see an astronomical amount of wood that can go into buildings, houses, you name it. In buildings, I mean production buildings like foundries and stables and so forth. So right now, how much wood are we looking to see there? I would say probably maybe 2,500 perhaps. Not bad. I've seen some of these go up to like 3K wood and other things like that before, but you know, I think honestly having that much wood that he does right now is pretty good there. Notice how he goes for tons of houses, tons of military buildings, as well as picking up the mosque technologies, even going for mining technologies too that he wasn't able to get before, like placer mines. Yeah, that's sort of why you go Sublime Port and you turn all that food into wood, so you can like basically complete your mosque and its best villager production rate. You can get all the military buildings you need, and then obviously get enough space as well for pop. Now, it does look like Sudiste is already pressing his opponent with cazadors, but as again, Abyss gun one-on-one is going to be cazador just fine. So right now, as long as the Abyss are active and ready to go, you should be all set. Absolutely. He's going to ship in about 6 more Abyss guns while queuing up an Abyss. Oh no, actually decides to go for the veteran upgrade and 2 cav archers as well. Yeah, I think at this stage he knows he already has a pretty substantial number of Abyss already, between the ones that came from the Egypt and the ones he's shipping in, so he may as well get the veteran upgrade now, so he can start eking out that insane damage that he wants. Oh wow, look, a direct hit by those Abyss there on the Dragoon. Absolutely insane. And now he's going to queue up more cav archers and more Abyss guns, it looks like. How about Chef Sudiste? So Sudiste is going to queue up more Dragoons. He ended up going with another map control position here, going right snap dab in the middle of the map to get to that bison hunt as well as that silver mine. So it does look like Chef Sudiste is definitely making some good ground there. Oh wow, though, look at this. This is a very far out town center for Ottomans. Look how he has to keep his explorer in the background so he doesn't get spotted. Well, he hasn't started building the TC, right? Yeah, if he started building it like right now, he would have lost it instantly. Yeah, he just cancels out. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to put a TC that far away, my friend. Not at all. Especially with Dragoons on the map, intercepting and raiding and stuff. Yeah, right now it does look like the Ottomans are going to try to make a move to intercept the Portuguese army of Dragoons and Cazadors there. Abbas engaging with the Cazadors, and it's a clean sweep. Yeah, Cazadors are kind of useless against Abbas guys, just saying. You know, their whole magical thing is having 45% pierce armor. Doesn't mean anything when the Abbas just ignores that armor altogether with its crush damage. Just saying. Just saying. So it does look like the Portugal is on a 3 TC boom, is that right? Yep, how about Ottomans? Because of that TC denial, it's an only 2 villager boom right now. A 2 TC one. Gonna go for Gang Saw, as well as queuing up Abbas plus Cab Archer. More Abbas coming out there. Good. Cab Archers here. It's really going to come down to numbers and micro. I think in particular, though, the Ottoman is in a much better spot because Abbas are just skirmishers on steroids, you know what I mean? That crush damage really helps them out quite a bit to ignore most armor that you're going to see on units. Not only that, shipping in the Falconets. Personally, I prefer 2 Falconets over 3 organ guns as well, because one point I always make for like machine gun type artillery is, well, machine gun type artillery can concentrate a ton of damage at a time, right? The issue with them is if the enemy knows to pull back, the machine gun type artillery can't complete its full sequence and thus doesn't get all its damage out, whereas something like a Falconet, you know, once it hits, it goes boom, boom, boom. It's going to do full damage right then and there, and you don't have to doubt that, you know what I mean? Whereas the organ gun, you know, somebody could, like, retreat from that potentially very quickly, and it's just not going to hit the same way. Yeah, so right now we see the organ guns in bombard mode, but we're going to see the Falconets do the same on the Ottoman side. It's going to be interesting to see which artillery survives here. Is it going to be the organs or is it going to be the Falconets? Could be either one depending on how they micro it. We see the Cav Archers and Abbas just sort of like patrolling around here when the Falconets roll in a bit. One thing to note, once you're sieging a town center, the TC can target the Falconets with their range and thus slowly wear them down, take them out eventually. So that's one thing to always consider when you're pushing in with Falcons. Just be wary that TC is probably going to be used to target them, since they're the most high profile unit that you would want to snipe there. Right, he was thinking of creeping up with his organ guns, but I think he realizes that the Falconets are going to hit a lot harder. Falconets still targeting the TC though. Falconets getting a clean shot at the Cazadors right there. Oh wow, look at that, clean shots on the organ guns. The organ guns are down. All 3 of them are down. Whereas the Falconets are still up. You see a bit of, well, how many Dragoons are connected to the Falconet right now? Looks like the Falconets will be eliminated. That's very important. If those Falconets were not eliminated, I would say you'll have some serious problems here. But thankfully, at least got that done. However, Abbas and the Cav Archer are still there and can, you know, do a bit of micro work to eliminate all those Dragoons if needed. Also, 3 Vills caught in there as well, so that's definitely going to hurt quite a bit. Alright, the Cazador shipment is in for the Portuguese there. The 7 Cazador one, right? And how's that TC doing health-wise? Well, it's down to about 2k, a little bit more than 2k. Looks like it's still active. Yeah. Yeah, but I would definitely be worried about Vills being there, though, since you did sort of lose like 3 or so villagers in that last engagement. I mean, obviously you're dealing with Portuguese, since they probably have a ton of villagers at this point, but just wanted to put it out there that if it comes down to the wire of attrition of eco, that was a huge loss there by the Portugal. Definitely one neat thing about the Ottomans is while they're... how do I explain this? While you do have to sort of research text to make their vill production a bit faster, their system is technically superior because you never actually have to shell in any food to keep making villages as the Ottomans. The Uruks just come out automatically no matter what. So you save a ton on stuff there. I noticed OnlyBaus is taking this PC siege very surgically. You know, he's being very surgical about not going in too deep, knows when to retreat, when to kite, when to set everything up, and yeah. More cav archers by the Ottoman, as you can see there. Let's see an indication of what cards Portugal might go for. So they got their coin, their wood, and age 3. They got their halb shipment. Good question what they go with from here. Looks like Cav Archers and Abyss taking the 4th position there and pushing on their position. Quite good. And yep. Good use of the Abyss there to pull in the Dragoons and kite them a bit. Should help out quite a bit there, honestly. And yeah. Also, we should check resource stockpiles. So yeah, it looks like because Ottomans never have to train their villagers for food, they got a ton of food right now. So if I stand correct, I think Ottomans have the bigger resource reserves, at least for now. Though they do have to burn through a ton of that coin just to make the Abyss guns, right? The Abyss gun, as you know, is a very expensive unit. It costs about over 100 coin in Twin Edition. So you get what you pay for, basically, when you deal with the Abyss gun. Oh, we got the Explorer down, that's great. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, Cav Archers and Abyss reconvening again. Where are these Uruks going? Woodline or what? Oh, and a soft little raid by Sudiste there with the Hussars. Good job taking a few vills out there. Selling the score. Now we notice the Ottoman is actually going to start training falconets. Up to 3 of them. Yep, got all 4 of those. That's good. Any sort of artillery you could use here is going to be pretty nice. And we'll force Sudiste on the culverins potentially if it gets severe enough. Dampen their coin quite a bit. Does look like Sudiste got some more working guns though. Definitely. For right now, it looks like the falconets are primed up to deal with those cazadors. One might even be able to roll towards those organ guns again. Also sent the 5 supply shipment as well, so has a bit of splashy cap now on the armament side. Ooh, look at that sneak over there, sticking the cab archers in the melee to attack the organ gun. It looks like it worked too. Wow, Gabe got the last one there. That was great. That was great. Good work there by OnlyBaus, confronting Sudiste on multiple fronts there. Makes it a lot harder to defend when you're really being surrounded. Most definitely. Also, the Sapphires do connect with the Cazadors and it's entirely atrocious. Those Sapphires are getting away with there. Yeah, because unfortunately, you know, Cazador is one of the lesser HP skirmishers relying on their Pierce armor mainly. Can't do that when the Sapphire is using hack armor with this huge mace. I'm starting to get estate economy, it looks like. Yep, going for bookkeeping. That was a little unexpected, but I suppose that can work, especially as the match gets later and later. The ground is lost. Thousand wood in the 5 cab archer shipment, it looks like. Only thing he has to send at this point is 3 Uruks, 700 wood, the Moss construction plus Royal Decree setup, and then the Mamluks. Yeah, no, Mamluks can be pretty good in their own right. They can be super duper tanky without any needed, you know, upgrades, research for them, you know what I mean? Yeah. And how's the Portugal doing? Does he have any mines left? Okay, he's doing plantation eco as well. I was just checking because if you notice that the Portugal was grabbing mines, whereas Ottomans are forced to like use plantation economy, that's not good. You know, I mean, you want to be on mines as much as possible throughout the match. If you don't do that, you know, you'll fall behind. At least until you get upgrades. Once you get substantial amount of upgrades with the plantations, then those start to look like the Bear Eco. But definitely at the start to mid of the game, you want to maintain that map control and get access to some of those coin mines so that you can basically get the most that you can for the battle in terms of being able to keep up with your army and stuff. Delivering the bison hunt to his town center from the Cheyenne natives, not bad. Should provide a bit of quick access food there. Kicks off one vil, forcing the other one to retreat. Alright, organ guns are in play for the Portugal again. I've been going for culverins, by the way, so they are actually investing in some serious anti-artillery right now. OnlyBaus turtling like crazy too. Look at these beautiful walls they sent up right there. These bulges coming out. Quite good. Alright, so it begins. Armin is going to go industrial, and they're already getting mosque construction. All they have to do is research the world of Cleveland, and then some pretty good shipments can arrive from the church. Where are we at here? Okay, so the culverins are being pressed right now. That's not a good sign. Sudiste is pushing in hard though with Cazador, as you can see. So Sudiste is not going industrial himself, but when he does, he'll get another covered wagon and thus have 4 town centers, which is very rare without having to add some sort of card into your deck usually. Now the Portugal is going industrial age. I just noticed that right there. So what'll the politician be? Tycoon, so about 1,000 gold, right? Not bad. Getting overwhelmed in that spot by good interception. That's why it's always good that you as Portuguese can spread your town centers out on the map. Once you start spreading your TCs out on the map, you're forcing your Ottoman opponent to respond to it at a slower rate, which might give you a chance to actually knock them back a bit. Just picking up counter infantry rifling now, it seems. Yeah, we haven't seen any real heavy infantry stuff by the... Oh, never mind. They just sent the royal decree for the Nizam Fusiliers, so there is some heavy infantry for the skirms to fight, yeah. What are you doing, Sudiste? You land OnlyBaus, get some free bill kills there, which is never good. Okay, so Dragoons obviously making it their emphasis to target the bombards first, because that's the most pressing now. Huge push there by Baus, actually splitting up his Abyss guns to reach in even deeper into the base, I see. How would the Bandas doing? Hussars connecting, but one bombard still survived. It's really good. Quite a bit of intense pressure by Baus though, constantly pushing in. Whereas Sudiste goes with the Barbary Revolt, turning all of his villagers into these Barbary warriors here. Basically super speedy pikemen, yeah. Kind of similar to the Insurgentes in Mexico in 5th edition, yeah. Yeah, something similar. We'll see if Sudiste makes or breaks it, because he just gave up his whole economy to do this. So we'll see if it ends up coming to any good or not in this situation. 42 whopping, wow, look at that. Insane. Safe to say though, since he did go with the Barbary Pirates Revolt, it's kind of too late for him, and it might be a GG here if he can't do the necessary damage in those turns of going back and forth. Going for another shipment of those warriors now. I think overall in this situation, Ottomans just wins because they're not the ones that revolted. They're maintaining their economy score quite well. Yep, GG, man. Kind of blundered it there, but I think there was so much pressure on me, I really had no choice. Then I get up a quick batch of heavy anti-cavalry units there. Let's get to game number 2 now. Hopefully I can find which one that is. I will be sitting here for a few seconds. Technical stuff. I'm hoping it's this one. I believe it's this one. I believe it's this one. Grab something real quick and I'll be right back. Just as a quick reminder, so far OnlyBaus is up 1-0 right now. So Sudiste to come back would have to win 3 games to beat OnlyBaus right now. OnlyBaus would only have to win 2 more games to win this best of 5. So yeah, let's see if this is game number 2. Hopefully it is. Alright, it is. Wonderful. Good old Saguenay. Game number 2. So here we are with Chef Sudiste maintaining his Portuguese, right? And this time OnlyBaus playing is the French. Oui, je le fais. So we got France versus Portugal. If you remember correctly from Wednesday, we did see Revenac playing his Portuguese on Saguenay and actually going for a fish boom of some kind. I don't know if Sudiste is really comfortable doing that, or if he will just go standard. Yeah. The thing is, Sudiste has been able to clap his opponents 2-0 in the Best Out 3 series, so he's never actually had to play Portugal on Saguenay yet. So this is a bit new to us to see how Sudiste actually handles Portugal on this map. Previously, he's always gone Swedish on this map, so definitely a bit of change of scenery there for Sudiste's Portuguese strategy, pretty much. Yeah, for some reason when I'm trying to use this mouse pad, it always scrolls me over to the side. I'm like, what? Ugh. Well, anyways, here's France. They just built their trading post here, and they're starting to produce their CBDs right now. They're Coeur de Bois. Looks like OnlyBaus is going for the 12 village rage up, which is an option you can do as French, where you just put all your villas on the Huns. Right, you don't build any houses, and then when you reach about 9 pop of your CBDs, you just ship in the 3 CBD shipment from the homestay there, and then you end up with a 12 village rage up instead of a mere 10 one if you didn't send that, which is a neat little trick. Quartermaster is always going to be a standard one for the French, because 400 wood is super universal and you can use it for all sorts of stuff. But what's the deck called? 1v1 Chef SAG. I find it interesting that he has the frigate in Age 3, the improved warships in Age 2, but no Age 2 ship, which I thought was a bit strange. Looks like Sudiste is just going to go Naked Fast Fortress, which I think is pretty fair here. You can never go wrong with the Naked Fast Fortress as Portuguese because, well, 3 town centers in Age 3 is definitely better than 2 town centers in Age 2. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why it's really inopportune for, Portuguese to ever stay in Age 2 because they're really denying themselves a town center and another source of booming economy as well as protection, because that's one less building that you can garrison and have a range attack in. So really, 3 TCs is much better than 2 TCs, especially if you plan on grouping them together for collective defense. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going for the semi-fan cows and 2 settlers with the naturalists, so that you can take your settlers right away and start eating those cows for the quick gather rate. Wow, Sudiste going long, sticking the TC in the mid-map there. Quite good. Yep, good right step. Go for the 7 coin. One thing I like about OnlyBaus at this stage is that he's got the Cree native site covered at this point. Not only are the Cree skirmishers from this site very good, even the 5 native Courrier de Bois, the 5 native CBDs who can train from the native site are also good, since it's giving you French CBD style economy, which is quite good. Portugal now gonna ship in about 700 wood for some reason. Sudiste is resuming the marksman age up with the cazadors, it seems. Now Sudiste also picked up his Cree site over here, and he's starting to add some of the Cree CBD villages in too for extra eco. Do note that they still cost 1 pop, though their build limit is only 5, so yeah.
Preparado? Estou ferido! Não me posso mexer!
Kind of similar to the case of the Albans, France can also go for a pretty solid fast fortress themselves, so they're happy to meet the occasion with the Portuguese, and that's why you're already seeing Portuguese. Where's he at actually with this military? Yep, Cazadors and Dragoons, and then France is also going skirms and Dragoons on their side. So it's going to be a skirm and Dragoon war on both ends, pretty much. Yeah. Only difference is that the French can pull in their culisses from time to time, which is a nice, neat advantage there too, honestly. Whereas Portugal's kind of stuck adding in organ guns, yeah, which can be interesting. Dragoons. Which one is this? This is the 8th skirmisher shipment, right? Yeah, okay. Just checking. Also one with the, let me see what else he's got. Sent the wood and the coin too, just so you can see that. Seems like right now OnlyBaus and skirmishers are doing a bit better here at the moment, yeah. Big difference between skirms and Cazadors is the fact that the Cazadors have less HP but more pierce armor, whereas the French ones, you know, have less pierce armor but more HP, pretty much. This is the one wild card that the French can pull that the Portuguese can't, which is the Culisses handicap with splash. Also looks like the French shipped in the 2 falconets as well, so that's like a pretty serious threat for the Cazadors. Let's see how this ends up developing. interesting. So looks like Sudiste Dragoons trying their best to reach the Falconets. Looks like they finally get into a good spot and eliminate them both. Yep. However, the Falconets did get some good shots on the Cazadors, as you can see right there. Big time. Does look like he will have to retreat though, since Sudiste has the map control advantage with the town center right here. Thus, can garrison Ville there at a time to act as an additional weapon against the invading OnlyBaus French army. Village down. Unless villager for Sudiste Ego looks like. How many killers are we looking at right now for France? So it looks like he's queuing up one for now. Let's see if we can get any other ones. He's also going for, I saw a priest there. Did you end up getting the priest or what? Yeah, that's something we see some advanced players doing sometimes, is they'll train like a single priest and then heal up their army as they're waiting to engage again. Which, you know, definitely saves you on resources because it's the same troops and thus you're not having to retrain more of them. As long as you can keep them alive between battles. Especially your big, heavy, expensive units like Killa says, which you can't afford to lose too many above to dragoons. One thing OnlyBaus is doing right now is opening water now. So gonna go for some fishing boat economy, it looks like.
Estou ferido, não me posso mexer.
Bad spot for the Oregon guns, Sudiste. You let it go right in front of the Kiddes and Dragoons. That was an easy cleanup. Honestly. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, all the while Baus is going to start bringing in more and more fishing boats, and thus his score is going to start soaring like crazy. Even over the Portuguese 3 town center band, which is quite impressive. Gonna reinforce with the Kiddes ship, and it looks like now I'm gonna go for as much splash cap as possible against those Cazadors I see. And sometimes Kiddes can be good against other things like Dragoons too. That's if they're paying attention and depending on what the number distribution is. Sudiste gonna take a run for his train post there, maybe get a bit of extra XP in the process. I think he's just trying to surround it right now, so France can't pull any fancy tricks on his units while they're trying to siege. Picks up his ranged infantry combat there, which is quite good. Gives all your ranged gunpowder units more damage. Oh man, now OnlyBaus is doing the 2-dock fish boom. Even crazier. And Sudiste didn't include any current water, right? Not at all. So Sudiste might not even know if he's going fish boom or not right now. That's how crazy this is. Let me see actually. Nope, no idea what he's actually doing, and this is gonna bite him real hard. Because at the end, Bowser's just gonna have more eco to replenish his army and stuff. Sudiste might not be able to catch up with, even though that's what Sudiste's score is still bumping ahead with the 3 town center moves, so who knows what's going to happen. Alright, so Falconets there trying to bombard right onto the Cazadors. They get a nice shot, but that's about it. Dragoons and Skirms coming in lockstep with the Falcons, it looks like, yeah. Why is Baus walling off the dock area up to the crease site? Interesting. I was wondering if he might board them into a boat and actually land them on Sudiste's side of the map to like throw them off. Doesn't look like it. Just doing a bit of defensive work, which I totally respect. Sudiste going up to Industrial Age with the Engineer, so I'm gonna get some free working guns, right? Yep. Wherever they went. Oh, here they are. Here's those working guns. Guard Cazador and then Legion Dragoon Royal Guard. Very good fitting stat upgrade. There's the 4 Falconets right now trying to make a push. Has to mind the Sudiste Dragoons though. Pick them off. Oh, they already did. Wow. They already took one out. Dos. Ah, crazy. Slays? 3 of them? Oh man. It's like things are definitely moving in the Sudiste direction. Being an industrial age also means Sudiste can start to get his factories too as an additional source of eco. Ooh, look at this pressure with the Cazadors and Dragoons. Looks like Sudiste is completely able to overrun them right now. I was pretty surprised by, especially since BO5 is doing some falconets right there. That's insane, man. Trying to shove his Dragoons right through that little hole right there. Look at that. Right in that little hole. Map control wise, Sudiste is the clear winner, but BO5 definitely has some fish eco to consider, so this could get a little tight here at the end. Sudiste will be taking this win now. It's 1-1 now. OnlyBaus winning on Great Plains and Sudiste winning on Saguenay. How much food does France have? So they got food, but they have a ton of corn. That's a little weird. What do you think? Alright, let's move on to game number 3 now of this series. Could grab something real quick and I'll be right back. Here we go. I believe. Oh, it's actually this one. No, it's not. It must be this one, Mongolia. That's what it should be. And let's see how this one is. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so we got Chef Sudiste as Dutch. Is that right? Ooh, and OnlyBaus is Mexico. Dutch versus Mexico. Interesting. I wonder how Sudiste does the Dutch. I'd imagine he plays it very similarly to the way he does Portuguese and goes for that sort of semi-fast fortress type logic and the bangs out super quick. Yeah, that's probably what I would expect. As for OnlyBaus, this could go in many different directions. He could go for some crazy revolt. He could go for God knows what. Yeah. So let's see what this is all about. So he's got 2 decks there, looks like. As for Dutch, let's see what he's got. Alright, he's got that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Interesting. So right now, so how does Sudiste do this? So it looks like Sudiste is going to go for a 14 village rage up, it looks like, right? 11 merchants, and then it's going to ship in 3 from the home city. Yeah, alright. Interesting. Probably doing that for the quickest possible age up in case Mexico's got some crazy ideas. More local ideas, like a Ba revolt or something of that nature. So they got 75 wood as well, which, you know, basically with Dutch, any sort of food or wood treasures you get in age 1, in age 2 is very good for you, because The big thing is, once you go between age 1 and 2, and you're sort of in the age up process, it's important that you get your first bank out, so that you at least have a bit of gold production ready, so you can resume your villager queues in age 2 without a hitch. So, yeah, hopefully, gets that bank up super fast, so we can see some good Dutch gameplay here against Mexico. Going up with the core master, that's usually what you go for because you want to go with most wood as possible. So you can get, you know, as many of your 5 banks as possible early on. Since your bank bill limit starts at about 5 and then you increase it later with the Royal Decree as well as the 2 cards in age 1. Bank of Amsterdam and Bank of Rotterdam, so yeah. Hopefully I can get the banks up super duper quickly on the Dutch side over here, yep. Oh, was I looking at Mexico for some reason? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's weird. Alright, there's the bank right there. Nice. Looks like he uses 3 vills to build the bank. Today, when I was doing some Dutch gameplay against that African AI that I told you about to test the Belgian revolt, I think I put on like 5 vills onto the bank, which I think was a little excessive, and I should probably take the Sudiste example, honestly. Goes for the bank wagon before the 700 wood. Back in the old days, I always heard the build order was to go for 700 wood first and then get the bank wagon. So Sudiste goes for the bank wagon first. Very fascinating. I didn't realize you could do that. Okay, so which revolt did Baus do? So Baus went up with the Ba revolt, and he's got about 11 filibusters ready to go. Let's see if Sudiste can prepare for this right away. Yeah, this could be pretty tough if he's not. You know, it's literally having like 11 straight up muskets going for your base, so you gotta be real ready for it. Not to mention these filibuster muskets that you get with the Ba revolt with Mexico have, you know, the same range with their siege as they do their normal attacks, so they can like throw dynamite from super far away without the, you know, town center being much of a threat, depending on how the banks are placed. Team Trickle Economics. Oh, interesting. Also, OnlyBaus was sure to grab all the TPs on the north side of Mongolia, so he is going to get some pretty good resource production out of there. Looks like right now he's got coin. He's got 1 on food and about... Oh, he's switching all the food right now. Is that right? Does that mean is he gonna go for a mixture of cavalry and outlaws? Maybe. Yeah, looks like he already got his factory up, right? Where's his factory right now? Let's see where his factory is. Alright, so going with the 14 banditos and the 3 cuatros. Very nice. Interesting place for a factory, NGO. I wonder if that's to make sure that Sudiste doesn't target it right away by rushing at his initial town center. Very fascinating, actually. It really is.
¿Qué hace falta?
Comandante.
Me vas a pagar.
Nine Goldbusters, 19 Banditos, and 9 Chinacos. That's a pretty big army. And all Sudiste has right now is a couple of pikers and an army of skirms. I don't think he can defend this. He needs a lot. Yep, so he did ship in the 8 pikes. Good. You're going to have to make sure all the Chinacos are dead, though, because these Chinacos, as you know, have multipliers against infantry. So the pikes do not deal with the Chinacos. The skirms will be cooked and they won't be able to do it with Banditos. Which looks like is the case. It looks like all the pikes are gone. Now the Chinacos have pretty much a free run at these skirms right now, which is not good for Sudiste's chances of winning this match, honestly. So, yeah, that's a pretty fierce OnlyBaus bar revolt. Ensured he went for the full trade route there. Yeah. Building one trading post and then using the free frontier wagons you get with the bar revolt to go right on that trade route. That's insane. Good timing. Truthfully, I'm pretty impressed with that. As far as back in the 4 basic concerns for Ba, he's going Quattro and Lancero now, it looks like. Also, sticking a coin into the deposit as well, to 1,000 coin. And then gonna go for Texacola textiles to add 2 settlers for every hacienda. How many does he have right now? Just one, right? He's gonna get about 4. Only 2 settlers. Interesting. Wonder why he's saying that. Could have technically gone for Walker Gang, which I think would have been a better choice at this stage for more military. But Spicy defense there by Sudiste goes for the Irish Brigadiers. Basically 1-pot mercenaries that have really good hand attacks, so yeah, that was an interesting choice at the last minute. Yep, GG, man. Very good bar revolt there by OnlyBaus. Seemed to have the full thing under his belt there, honestly. big time. Absolutely. So now we're going to look for game number 4, which is actually this one. And then this will be game number 5, I'm presuming. GG. Okay, so Sudiste is back with the Portuguese again. And OnlyBaus is Germany now. So, it looks like Portugal is the main save of Sudiste. He's really going back to Portugal every chance he can get. Yeah, basically. So I think it's pretty neat. Now, on this particular map, things are pretty interesting for Germany since they actually start the game with the market already built. So all they have to do is acquire the necessary funds to get that 50 wood, 50 coin hunting dogs tech to keep up with the build order. Yeah, most definitely. Important reason why hunting dogs is so important to the Germans early on. It's because their Settle wagons have a base gather rate of about 2 vills in 1. So if you can get the hunting dogs tech done, it's like an exponentially better investment. Yeah, basically. Because pretty much what happens is if you have like, let's say you have like 5 Settle wagons or something, or 6, right? It's basically like having 12 villagers, and then when you get hunting dogs, it's like improving 12 villagers at the same time, which is kind of a good value, basically. Good to see some new people here now. Beautiful. Alright, so let's check this Germany deck. It's 1v1 water, which means there is counter water measures here. You got the 2 caravels in H2, and then you have the frigate in H3. Just in case Sudiste goes for a fish boom. Which, honestly, that's a fair thing that you might want to include, just because Florida is a very fish boom friendly map with this huge water area. And Portugal in particular benefits from fish booming quite a bit. Though it does look like he's just going standard land deck. Going with Vitorias to add the resource trickle to all of his town centers going forward. Yeah, it's really the best card you can send as Portugal if you're not going for a fish boom, is go with Vitorias. Because it essentially allows your TCs to trickle about 0.36 food, 0.24 wood, and same as the wood for the coin. And as you go towards H3, it's like tripling that trickle, like, you know, 2 times, basically, 2 or 3 times. Because essentially then, the combined trickle between all those would be closer to like 1 food per second, and then a little bit less than, I think, 1 wood in coin per second, if I recall. Yeah, but definitely the food amount's the biggest. Sticking to the old naked fast fortress for Portuguese again. Gonna go naturalist, eat the cows, and then ship the coin, and yeah. Good job, Sudiste, making sure this German explorer didn't escape. Giving you a nice batch of XP there to go for your first shipment as soon as you hit that age 3. Yeah. Oh, gonna go for the 700 wood first, I see. Yep, that's a good security. Just in case you need to, you know, get your barracks to stable up now for age 3. Gonna open up with stable to go dragoons. That's typically what these Portuguese seem to do all the time, is open dragoons and then add the cazadors in, which I find pretty interesting. It's kind of good against Germany, since Germany, as you know, gets free Ulan hand cavalry with every shipment, so having dragoons out first thing is probably core for that type of stuff. Goes for the Ethiopian Queen, so has a bit of hand infantry to defeat the skirmishers pretty much, yeah.
Estou ferido, não me posso mexer!
Knowing this opponent's gonna go Cazador or Dragoon most likely, Germany's gonna want to get as many war wagons up as possible to support their skirmishers pretty much, yeah.
Já me sinto mais forte. Estou ferido, não me posso mexer.
Let's see how those Yuans get used potentially. Can those Yuans connect with the Kazuto as well? Looks like they are. Let's see how deep they cut in. It's definitely having a strong healthcare backbone there in that battle. Will definitely ensure that most of your units get healed. Pursuing of the skirmishers, I see, yeah?
Auftrag. Estou ferido, não me posso mexer.
Going full war wagon and still fish booming, and I see. Yeah, this is the second time we've seen OnlyBaus do fish booming. And the first time we did on Sagane, he ended up failing. So, yeah, let's see if that's the same case here. Also trained up about 2 falconets, which should be quite useful in this fight. Looks like Sudiste is breaking through. Yeah. Looks like in the end, Chef Sudiste was able to maintain a good defensive posture and have more resources, at least at that stage, which is pretty nice. Now we're going to go to the last game in the series and we should be all done. Might be this one, let me check it. Here we go. Arctic Islands. This is the first of the best of 5 series in this tournament where we see Arctic Islands, where Arctic territories show up as a map. If you've played Wars Liberty only, you'll know this map is St. Harold's Island. So basically on this map, it's like a huge body of ice that you're on. And you have to know how to traverse the little mini continent so you don't end up in collisions and end up having issues maneuvering around and stuff. So it looks like Ottoman's got their standard builder done, they got the mosque, and they got the train post. Very essential for Ottomans to try to get as many train posts as possible. What am I even saying? Yeah, I get it. It's important for Ottomans to get as much train posts as possible, as well as the mosque, because both generate XP, and then basically the Ottomans can ensure they're getting a steady, you know, amount of money pretty much, because basically, as you know, you're going to need that coin right away for the Naked Fast Fortress. That's what we're probably going to see here. And then you'll definitely need that coin for things like artillery and so forth going forward, yeah, in the match. $135 XP treasure by Sudiste, and then Baus gets 100. Interesting. Now, I think France versus Ottomans always produces some neat results here, so this will be a fun one to see. Especially since have we seen Sudiste ever do French? Remember, it's always Portugal. Portugal. Going for, let me see, so when Uruk's and capitalism, that's a good sign that it's gonna probably be Double barracks Janissary, right? Yeah, it looks like it, because now we're seeing the Core Master coming in for Ottomans, which means they're going to go for 2 barracks and then start pushing out their Janissary advantage early on, it looks like. Alright, so France will hunker down H2 in response to the Ottoman setup. Not a bad idea. I'm pretty sure these skilled players know to always check their enemy's deck before they plan something. So yeah, Sudiste knows, alright, if my opponent's gonna go double barracks Janissary, I'll go beat him with stuff in H2 myself. Yeah. Like muskets, crossbows, and so forth and so forth.
Je suis blessé. Je ne peux pas bouger.
Ooh, not bad. Not a bad deli raid there by OnlyBaus. So it looks like instead of going the double barracks Janissary, ended up going stable instead. That's pretty nice. Because basically whenever you start with stable, it helps propel you very easily into H3. Because all you usually have to do is make like a handful of hand cap. That's enough to run the table for a while, and then it can squeeze you in for your age up right after that, pretty much. Yeah.
J'ai repris des forces.
So Ottoman's ready for Fortress Age. They're gonna age up with the Exiled Prince for age up speed, just so they can get one of their power cards in age 3, hopefully. You know, either the 6 Abbess, the 8 Jan, or the Falconet one. Destiny and their mosque upgrade to improve the build limit. So now that Almonds in Fortress Age can go for a Cab Archer opening there with the stable, as you can see, and then add Abyss Gun in as support. Going for a bold push there from OnlyBaus, going for a mid-map town center to add some more vills in. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Looks like right now Sudiste is gonna. So what's on the map? Just so you know. eke out as much stats as possible. And now it's a bit of playing chicken between the two, seeing who's gonna strike first and how deep. Because if somebody strikes in too deep and loses most all their stuff, then it's pretty much GG across the board.
Hazır.
Opening up with the Abyss to push it first, maybe pick off some infantry and stuff, and then Dragoon's coming from behind to do some damage. Good clean shot there with the Abyss. Now picking off the CBDs. Yeah, see, normally you can actually include your French villagers, the Coeur de Bois, in combat. But with the Abyss gun, it's a bit hard because the Abyss deals, you know, crush damage, so it can effectively beat out the CBD's armor. Yeah. Pretty much so. It looks like they actually had a mouse against villagers here in Defam Edition, so that must have been a balance complaint they had before where the Abyss were dropping them too quick. Still though, the fact that they can ignore that Pierce armor is probably a good thing. Overall, in the cost. Okay, so we got Skirms and Dragoons fighting the Reuters and the Abyss. Armaments did get their supply shipping out too, so that's going to be used to clobber those CBDs very well. Unlike the, you know, other cavalry, obviously the supply is going to do pure damage against those CBDs, which is quite devastating, yeah. Who won that one? Oh, OnlyBaus won it with a mix of Cab Archer and Abyss. Yeah. As I said, I think at the start of the stream, basically, Abyss gun is like the elitist of the skirmish units. Yeah, no. Absolutely. So yeah. That could be probably predictable. I mean, sometimes you can beat it out with proper numbers and stuff. Especially if Sudiste. Did Sudiste get his Falconet shipment in? Yes, he did, and it just didn't work. No. So, yeah. Well, yep, we're done with the PK tournaments round of 16 now. During the upcoming week, we're gonna look at the quarterfinals. Should be a small list of games, relatively speaking, so yeah, that should be good. Anyways, thanks for everybody that showed up. It was a nice little stream. Pretty much ready for bed at this point, you can tell, but you know, I tried my best to scroll through this thing as best as I could and everything, and yeah. See you next time. GG's and well played.